So if people like die or something like that with NASA,
That's bad confessions.
What?
They what?
What were you going to say? If someone dies, do you think they blow the whistle?
Well, I'm just like, why would they say people died going up into outer space or like?
Oh,
how did you know I was just going to ask you about my Red Bull Austrian friend? Something out of nothing.
Well,
the guy that jumped off.
I'll show you. I'll show you that in a second. So getting back, because I am all over the place today. The what about the shuttle? The Challenger astronauts. So this was to traumatize children and also to kick the can down the road a little farther because, we keep saying civilians in space, hotels in space, going to Mars.
Hotels.
None of that's real. So they have to kick the can down. They needed to traumatize children. So they had every kid in school. They brought a television into the classroom that day. First time ever.
Yep.
And then they,
and it was a teacher too.
They basically, and there was a teacher on there. So that's how they traumatized everybody. But let me ask you a question. You have any brothers and sisters? You guys have brothers and sisters. They're close to you. If you had a twin, you even have a closer connection to your twin. Would you all agree with that?
Yes. I've heard
so
that.
if you look at the Challenger astronauts, 6 of them had identical twins. All 6 of those twins work at, I think all of them except maybe this guy, work at universities as professors. They have the same name, same birthday, and they say they're the identical twin of their dead brother or sister.
What?
Wow.
Okay. And none of them showed up at their brother or sister's funeral.
What?
Stop.
This guy right here, Dick Scobie, he had this company called like Cows and Trees or something. I forget what the company did, but when you went to his website, it basically had a cow that takes off like a rocket with smoke coming out of his rear end. And he does this crazy loop, just like the Challenger loop that we saw. Okay. And we noticed that, we brought it up, bam, website disappears. Okay. No one was able to capture it, but, they're sticking it in our faces.
Oh, wow.
In our faces.
Wow.
Guys, are you guys familiar with the Georgia Guidestones?
Yes.
No. Everyone, my brother is, yes.
All right. So the Georgia Guidestones are like a Stonehenge type monument that was built in 1981. Besides the fact that they have the New World Order marching orders on them, they have a very interesting little hole in the center stone, a long, thin hole, like 1/4 of an inch. And if you look through that stone, what do you see? What you see is the star Polaris, our North Star. And if you do a time lapse, all the stars spin around it. How the heck can we be corkscrewing through space in 4 different directions at once, traveling trillions of miles over the decades, and that Polaris has never moved from that hole? Right?
I mean, it definitely makes you think.
There's a lot of unanswered questions,
but I
for
think
sure.
that the biggest problem is that no one asks any questions. Everyone just takes what you're told as fact.
Well, you only know what you've been taught.
Yeah,
so,
right.
You think that's the truth. You think,
and like Cruz said kind of earlier, there's a stigma to people who will say like the earth is flat. People make fun of it. And then you're kind of like, well, I don't really know. And then you have someone like David or my brother, and it's kind of like, well, now I'm kind of curious. And then I wonder, but then if you ask, people are like, oh, okay, you're one of those people. So I feel like,
let's look at this. If you wanted to go from Santiago to Australia, this would be the quickest route. Maybe just go around because we don't want to disturb the penguins. All right. So that would be the shortest route. But this is the actual route. Santiago, all the way up to the East Coast, the West Coast, and then all the way back down. And if you want to go, check this out, to Western Australia, instead of taking a little scoot under here, you go all the way up here, all the way over to Europe and Dubai and down.
And why is that?
Because the earth is flat. South America, you go all the way up, across America, Europe, Dubai, and Western Australia. It's a straight line on a flat earth map. All plane routes that make no sense on a globe.
That is so true.
Make perfect sense on a flat earth.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
So you ever ask any pilots what they think?
Yes, we've talked to many pilots, and they say that they know the earth is flat and stationary. They talk about how their gyros maintain level, that they see things, that are literally impossible on a globe, on a spinning globe. And we actually interviewed a KLM pilot who was telling us all the stuff, showing us all sorts of stuff. Next day, she was grounded and fired. Okay. Yep. And so this is a long distance flight, and the sun right here should dip below the horizon, but it never does because it's just moving around the flat Earth. Let me show you guys my app and show you how seasons work, because that's the one that usually gets everybody. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So again, if we were in a crazy heliocentric spinning Earth, nothing would ever repeat. The stars won't repeat. Like if you go out tonight and look at the stars, mark where they are in the sky. Next year, same night, same time, every star will be in the same exact position, even though we've corkscrewed through space for billions of miles. Nonsense. Okay, so the sky is a perfect clock. The sun keeps track of the hours and the days. The sun is the hour hand, but right now it's not on the hour hand because here in America we have fake daylight savings time, and they want us to think it's an hour later than it is. That actually affects us, the way we're connected to the earth and to the sun. So I say that's literally to throw us off kilter. So the sun goes around, it laps the moon once every 28 days. So you'll see that it's catching up to the moon, and the moon is getting smaller and smaller. So the moon's phases and position keep track of the weeks and the months, right? And as it catches up to the moon, it'll be a new moon and you won't be able to see it. And then when it's opposed to the sun, we have a full moon. So that's how, so the moon keeps track of the weeks and the months. There used to be 13 moons of 28 days, okay, which is 364 days. And then there was like one extra day squeezed in there. If I turn on the stars circle around the same way. All the zodiac stars, they circle around, but they're going just slightly faster than the sun. So right now the sun is in this constellation. Next month, Cancer will catch up to it, and it'll process through Cancer for a month, and then it'll go into the next one, and it'll take a year for the stars to lap the sun. So let me show you how that works. So the sun goes around, and right now we're having summer in the north, right? It just went over Miami, super hot in Miami. Southern California, Mexico, hot. Australia is having their winter right now. And that's because the sun is far away from them. It never gets that close. But if I jump the sun 6 months forward to December, it's now summer in Australia because the sun is high over their head. And for us, the sun is farther away, so it's lower in the sky. And we're having our winter, right? So the example I use is, imagine two of you are sitting outside, freezing cold. It's snow on the ground, whatever. And you're 15 feet apart. And then I stand over one of you, and then 10 feet over your head, I have a super heat lamp. And you're like, and you feel that heat, and it's warm, and you're good. You take off your coat. Well, that's your summer sun. It's high in the sky. The other person 15 feet away, that sun's not over them. It's way over, lower in the sky. They can barely feel the heat because it's farther away. That's their winter sun. And if I move that sun over to them, now it's their summer and the other person's winter. It's higher in the sky for them. And the person that's looking over, it's now lower in the sky for them. That's exactly how summers work. That's how seasons work. It makes no sense on a tilted, wobbling ball Earth. Make sense?
What about the
Complete
places that
sense.
stay warm all the time?
Well, that's very good. So the places that stay warm are in the tropics. Well, where are the tropics? The tropics
middle.
are in between the two tropics, the Tropic of Capricorn. Look, right now, if I turn on the tropics, you'll see that the sun is, if I jump forward one more month, the sun is in the Tropic of Cancer. That's why they call it the Tropic of Cancer. And then over here is Capricorn. If I jump the sun 6 months farther, it goes into the Tropic of Capricorn, which is now right over here. So that's why and so the sun migrates in between these tropics. So everything in between here is never too far from the sun. Look, Mexico, you got the Caribbean here.
Which is by the equator.
Yeah. And anything that, the sun never gets farther than this distance from anything. So Florida all the way here, even during the winter, it gets a little cold in Florida, but the sun's still close enough. But places, way up north, like Alaska, when the sun is all the way out here, the sun can't even reach it, and then the sun never even rises. Right? So if I jump forward again, back to our summer here in the north, if where am I? November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So in July, whoops, I went a little too far. Whatever. So the sun is here and it's arcing around us, right? If I'm here in the Arctic and I look at the sun, what's it doing? It's arcing around me. Okay. You agree with everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
But if I'm out here in the Antarctic, is the sun arcing around me? Or is it antarcing away from me? Antarctic, Arctic.
So is that why where is it last? The 30 days of night and day?
Yeah. So right here, when the sun is all the way in here, the sun's never too far from Alaska to set. Like at midnight, it would be all the way over here. The sun is still close enough not to set. But when the sun is out over the Tropic of Capricorn, October, November, December, when the sun's all the way out here, Alaska, the sun never rises because it's too far away. It's going all the way around and it never gets close enough to Alaska, to Norway, right? Because it's too far away. But when it comes all the way back in, it actually stays close enough where it never gets far enough away to set for anything here in the further inner north.
So
real quick, and let me get out of the app. The app has a compass. The most important thing on the app is Flat Earth is highly censored. If you Google Flat Earth, you're not going to find anything. But every day there's a new featured video, and I say, here's the challenge. I say, watch the featured video every day for 2 weeks. And if you still think you have a globe proof, I'll give you 2 Bitcoins if you have one. But before you do, you have to click the question mark and up come questions like, what about eclipses? What about Coriolis effect? What about gravity? What about seasons?
Oh my goodness.
And if you hit one of them, like what about eclipses, up comes a playlist that YouTube and Google do not want you to see. These are videos that won't show up when you circle, when you look for eclipses. And then this will explain how it all works.
Wow.
Tons of other stuff in there. Flat Earth books, right? 16 Emergency Landings. Amazing book. If you want to get that. The Iron Republic, which is about the lands beyond Antarctica. Great stuff. All right. And that's it. That's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app.
Questions. Oh my God.
It's the best.
Wow.
So many questions. I also want to know, so do you believe that at one point all the different countries and continents and such were one?
Nope.
That they haven't broken apart like they suggest?
Nope.
Because they say that.
Yeah.
They say that we're on a spinning ball flying through an infinite space vacuum and that we're in the Goldilocks zone. And they say a lot of silly stuff. But if the continents were shifting around and the earth was spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, like they tell you, everything would go to the equator. All of the water, all of the land, all of the continents, everything would go to the equator. Okay. All of the ancient pyramids, everything still line up with the exact stars that they're pointing at.
Wow.
We're not drifting a fraction of an inch.
Go ahead, Mom. Well, I happened to see somebody that I knew a long time ago, and he is very much into the flat earth also. And they did a test about the water, like that it wouldn't stay. Like it makes no sense that if it's round, the water would stay.
Right. Like it's in the ball.
Well, how does gravity hold on, water to a spinning ball? How do cruise ships and tankers go upside down? Like this is going on in Australia right now. Okay. But a butterfly can fly and I could jump. Like, how could I even lift my arms? Right. If gravity is able to hold on to the water. And think about this. They tell us the gravity of the moon pulls the water to create the tides. Well, what's to stop it if it can pull the water, why doesn't it just pull it right off the earth? All right. I mean, if it can move the water, why doesn't it pull it off the earth?
I never thought about the water.
Right. It's the dumbest thing ever. Let me explain what the 3-body problem is. You can go in the world's best supercomputer, you can model and say, all right, I've got a sun, it's got this much gravity, and I got this little planet, and it's got this much gravity, and you can put them into orbit, and the computer will predict where that ball is going to be every second of every day for millennia. Okay. Then you add one more object, either a moon rotating the second ball or another Earth, another planet rotating about the sun. And the model goes into complete chaos mode, never repeats, becomes completely unpredictable. No computer can figure it out. But we have billions of objects in our galaxy alone. And, it's like 60 different objects in our solar system, and everything just keeps repeating again and again and again. And they can predict eclipses and all sorts of stuff. It's insanity, right? Do you know that eclipses repeat every 18 years, right? The idea that a sun is 400 times bigger and 400 times farther than the moon, and they line up perfectly once would be like winning the lottery. Like it's beyond winning any lottery. Okay. And then it repeats again and again and again every 18 years. All of the eclipses repeat. The same eclipses happen again and again. That shows you that the sky is a perfect timepiece. This was called the Antikythera mechanism. It was found off of Greece, off the island of Antikythera. And it had these complicated wheels in it. They did an MRI of it. They dissected all the pieces. They put it together. And it's a mechanical device that shows you when all the eclipses happen, where the sun and the moon are, all the phases of the moon, and the position of some of the planets. And it works perfectly. That's not a random beehive, heliocentric, Big Bang nonsense.
Wow. The daylight savings time thing, you feel like they wants to like throw us off, but one state doesn't change their time. Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess, but
I think there's a couple of others. Maybe.
I mean, think about
anyway.
Daylight savings time is the dumbest thing ever, because that's like saying, you know what? I have a quilt and I'm cold, so I'm going to cut off a foot on the top and sew it to the bottom.
Government.
Yeah, I'm going to sew the foot off the top on the bottom, and that's the silliest thing ever. David,
I have so many other questions. I know flat Earth is what we're talking about, but I feel like it all kind of goes together. And I wanted to know your view on the whole COVID thing. And I am originally from Austria. And the thing that I have witnessed through this whole thing is that I have watched a different country handle this whole COVID situation. And I have told my children, and I've actually translated it, it's almost like they are all having the same script. Like my country in Austria, they're saying the same things.
They all have the same script.
Yeah.
Is that a fact?
Is this going on YouTube?
Yes.
All right. So we're not going to say too much because they will take it down and you'll get a strike.
Okay.
So
don't talk about that.
This says it all. Okay. Complete and total nonsense. All right.
Got it.
And yeah, they all do have a script. They're all saying build back better. It's all nonsense. If you want to know the truth about all of this stuff, it used to be on YouTube, but now you can't find it there. There's a website called stoplookthink.com. And you have some featured videos on the main page there. And then there's videos on the CV thing and the 911 thing and all of the other things. And it's all broken down for you, for anyone that has the time to look and the eyes to see and the brain to process the information.
Okay, so then let's go back to my Austrian friend that jumped out, the Red Bull that jumped out of space, where I literally couldn't breathe because it was happening. Was that all fake? You
were friends with Felix?
I'm not really friends with him, but I'm from the same country.
Okay, I'll take it. So people like to be connected to big events. It's part of the way that some of these deceptions work. But Felix Baumgarten, there's two ways to look at it. One, he was a shill meant to make people think the Earth is a globe, or he didn't know what he was doing, because when he came down, he was interviewed and goes, I saw the curvature of the Earth, blah, 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 blah. Well, he could have been told to say that, or he thought he saw the curve of the Earth because he's wearing a curved glass over his head. He saw the curve of the Earth when he was standing on the ground also, which he didn't realize. Okay. But there was two test flights before the televised one, and they all used regular lenses, and all of the horizons were flat and level at eye level. But
where did he go? I mean, they said he went to space. So.
He went to the edge of space, 127,000 feet. Okay. And he did not see the curve. This is a fisheye lens. We looked and we said, okay, look at this river, look at these land features, look at all this stuff. This is all New Mexico. This isn't even the United States. This is just New Mexico, and it's bent in a fisheye lens. Right? GoPro lenses bend. They changed it all to GoPro for the one that they had filmed, and GoPro lenses change it. When the camera moves, it flexes. It gets flat, and then it turns convex, and then it turns concave, right? Or concave, convex. When you're up that high, 120,000 feet, flat, not a fisheye lens, right? So was he lying or was he fooled? I don't know. It doesn't matter. The Earth is flat.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Hey, one other thing. Just this, for smoke, you need that. For paint, you need that. For mining, you need that. For pesticides, you need that. For radioactivity, you need that. The deadliest virus in history. All you need is a little face diaper.
I was going to ask you about that too, but I don't want to ask questions that will get us taken down. What about cryptocurrency? What do you think of that?
Yeah, so cryptocurrency, there's two ways to look at it. One, the government created it, which I don't believe is the case. But because it's open source, innovations happened and they've lost control over it. Or two, it was done to help take down the bankers and the government got their fingers in it. I kind of think that's what's happened.
Yeah.
Like right now, Bitcoin is going to go through the roof still.
I hope
but
so.
Bitcoin isn't what they think it is because the government has, they've changed it into all the exchanges are KYC, which is know your customer. So basically, it's just like banking again. They know they can track the Bitcoins. They can know what you're doing with it. They can even mark certain Bitcoins as, this was used for something bad, therefore it's worthless, right? They've got their fingers into it. There's other thing called privacy coins like Monero or Pirate Chain, which is the new one. Monero is what Bitcoin should have been, but Pirate Chain is what Monero should have been. Right. And Pirate Chain is a fairly new crypto. And basically, when you use Pirate Chain or Monero, nobody can see what you're doing with it. Right. And that's the way it should be. And these are the ones that are going to take over. Now, here's the thing. Cryptocurrency is going to take over the world and unseat the bankers. Okay. And the bankers are the ones that are running the world. Or we're going to go into a time where money, crypto, gold bars, silver don't matter. The only thing that'll matter is food, guns, and bullets. Okay.
Oh God. So explain that. I want to know more about that.
Yeah. So here's the thing. All of this is in our hands. They're trying to create this future, but they can't do it without our permission. They need our minds to manifest their world. When you're ever in that flow state and everything's working perfectly and you think about something and bam, it manifests in your life. That's how life is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. They have us living in a way where we think that we're running out of food, we're running out of fuel, we're running, global warming. All of that is just to take down your power, right? Spinning out of control, lost in space. Well, how are you going to make a proper decision if that's what you think? This is why I left my company to spread this message, because all the flat earthers, and there's millions and millions and millions of us, and more are waking up every day. They've all disconnected from this matrix, right? This is the mind matrix. They're controlling our minds with lies. But once you wake up from it, you just like, I have no more fear to feed you, because they feed off of our fear. This is a spiritual war. Mm-hmm. And once you wake up to this, you unplug.
And you can't unsee. I do agree with that. Like once you see, you can't unsee, and then you start like questioning everything, literally.
Right. And, I used to wake people up to the event that happened in New York, the event that happened in Connecticut at the school, the event that happened at the marathon in Boston, right? Because all of those are provably 100% complete and total, utter heliocentric, I'll call it, which means nonsense. But the problem is people wake up to that and they go right back to their stupid lives, right? And they would just kind of forget about it. When you wake up to the flat earth, you can never unsee it. And then things change for you in great ways, right? My life is, I had my own company. I was my own boss, right? Boss was a dick, but it was me. Okay? So I walked away from it all, and now I'm doing what I love, and it's working. It's great, and I'm helping people wake up, and this is really a good thing. And if people woke up, literally, we can take our world back tomorrow if everyone just friggin' woke up and realized what's nonsense and what's real sense, right? They've convinced us to trade in our common sense for a guy in a bow tie wearing a lab coat, or a butcher coat. Okay. All they have to do is come out and say a new survey, scientists have a new survey that shows, and whatever they say after that, people just believe it.
I believe that 100%.
It's all
for sure.
complete and total nonsense. Have you guys taken the magnet challenge yet?
The what?
No.
And any of you get the thing in your arm?
No.
Heck no.
Yep.
You did?
I did.
How long ago?
And let's see. I got it in January. And I did try the magnet and it didn't work.
All right,
Nope.
good. Listen, I've seen some incredible things. Which one did you get? Which
Moderna.
Moderna. Yeah, I've only heard it on Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson, but again, lot
I did it to my mom and she got Pfizer. Didn't
Nothing.
stick either.
All right, very good. Good to know.
They call
I need to do it myself before I see it. So
have you seen
before I do it?
They call it the Fauci ouchie, so you don't get in
Fauci
trouble.
I mean, if you guys look into, go to stoplookthink.com, watch the videos just on the homepage there, or click the Corona page and just start watching, and then you'll learn so much.
Well, I mean, it's so interesting. So all the beliefs you have with everything that the threats basically that they are saying are coming, with Bill Gates buying up all the farmland, et cetera, and our water and food supply supposedly being in danger and stuff like that. How do you feel about that? And what are you doing to prepare yourself?
Well, I'm helping people wake up and see, and I'm prepared. I'm widespread. I've diversified my assets. I have a lot of crypto. I have food. I have weapons. I have plans. But I'm hoping I don't need any of it. I'm hoping that if people wake up, they're going to just keep pushing their plan back until they can't roll their plan out until we all say, yes, roll it out. Like they wanted to invade all of those countries in the Middle East. They had all the keys to the rockets and the bullets and everything, but they had to wait until we pounded the war drum. So they did that 9/11 thing. And everyone pounded the war drum, including me. I'm like, let's go get those effers, right? Because we were all under a spell. And they can't do it until we give them permission. Okay?
Oh, that's
and that's what people don't understand.
That is very interesting.
Wow.
They can't do anything unless we give them permission.
Right.
I do believe we're in a spiritual warfare, and half of us don't know, we're in it.
I agree with that.
I'd say more than half. If it was half, we'd be doing much better. It is a spiritual war. And if you understand what this place is, then you'll really start to get it. And again, you just have to look into Tartaria and our history, what they've taken from us. It is criminal is not even the word. It's beyond belief. There's a video I have on my channel on the Flat Earth app. If you go into the archive and look under this month, May of 2021, it's called The History of Flat Earth, The Hidden History of Flat Earth, parts 1 through 7. Watch that.
My
Game
brother's
changer.
looking it up right now, actually.
You'll find it. It's on my YouTube channel, which is the Flat Earth Podcast YouTube channel, the Flat Earth Podcast YouTube channel. It's the newest video. I just made it public this morning, but it's on if you forget that, just go into the app and hit the archive button next to the featured video, and it's right there. It's a 5-hour video. I'm on my third watching.
Oh,
okay?
Wow.
Wow.
What do you think?
It's mind blowing.
What do you think of the health industry in this country?
Oh, it's not. I would never go to a doctor except for collision. I just want collision insurance. Like if I break a bone, orthopedic doctors are gods. Okay. If I have any disease, which is just toxicity, they've named all the different types of toxicity. They've given them all different disease. I will handle it myself.
Yes, I agree so much.
Same.
That.
Yeah, there is no disease. There's just levels of toxicity.
Toxicity. Wow.
I like that.
Yeah.
The way you say that, actually.
Yeah, because they give you more and more medicine, which
they keep you sick.
Well, their
That's
job
all
is
they
to
do.
keep you sick.
mm-hmm.
There used to be, correct. There used to
That's
be
why-
all sorts of real medicines, which they call snake oil and stuff. But then they took it over, with I think it was called the Fleckner Report by the Rockefellers. And they've just changed everything to oil-based, petroleum-based medicines. There's like a plant that has like cures whatever. There's plants that do amazing things. Well, they're like, oh, let's create that synthetically from petroleum oil. Oh, we have the same molecular setup, and then we'll make a pill out of it. Rather than use the plant.
It's countries that have universal health care that have cures, and they don't have these issues because they don't mess with their food supply.
Mm-hmm.
America messes with our food supply.
Yep.
What do you do about
You are
that?
what you eat.
Oh my God.
Sick
Yes.
because it keeps the engine running because we have to pay for it.
David, what about that? Our food supply. I mean, it is totally different from.
It's totally horrifying,
Fake food.
horrible, and
What do you
Thank
do?
you, Monsanto.
yeah, I eat as much organic as I can.
And even then,
if I can grow my food, I will.
But for the people that are poor, it sucks because we don't have a choice a lot of times.
Yeah,
we
you get
can't
an
afford
$8
the fresh
salad
food.
or a
Here's what
$3
people don't
burger.
realize. That if you have a 10 by 10 square of crappy land that gets some sun,
Oh,
you can
honey,
grow enough
I have
food.
a garden. I have a garden in my backyard.
Yeah, they're good for you. I built 2 gardens, 2 boxes on this little. I was renting a house at one time,
Yep.
and I built
I'm renting
2
too.
boxes 5 by 10, filled them up with dirt, or soil. Sorry to insult the dirt, and or insult the soil. No, soil is soil, dirt is dirt.
Oh,
So, and I grew enough food to feed half the neighborhood. Okay. It was insane the amount of food that you can grow. So, we live in this magical place where people say there's a food shortage, but you can find a jar of seeds that your grandmother put in your garage 50 years ago, stick
that's
them
still-
into the soil, and then water, the most valuable substance on earth, will fall from the sky and food will grow out of the ground. Okay.
Yep.
Don't tell me there's a
Seeds
food
are
shortage.
cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a
There's
question
the,
about that.
Intelligence shortage.
What do you,
Absolutely. I mean, people don't know. And they don't know how to grow their own food now and stuff like that. It's schools aren't
See, I grew
teaching.
up growing my own food, so
don't you wish
Yeah.
that's what they taught you in school?
Yeah. Schools are not
well-
teaching what they're supposed to be teaching.
not in a lot. Well, not certain schools, I guess.
David,
Guys,
what
I got to
about
wrap up. I got another interview. Any final questions?
yes, what about the all the talk about the planes that are changing our climate to whatever, like put clouds and and hide the sun?
geoengineering,
Oh yeah,
I've been screaming about that for well over a decade, and people said it was a conspiracy theory, but now they admit it. They do it, and I don't believe it's for the reasons only that they tell us, but I believe they're hiding stuff. They're hiding the sky. They're trying to disconnect us from the energies from the heavens above, which are very close. It's all a spiritual war. If you watch when there's nice cumulus clouds and all of a sudden they start spraying, those clouds just kind of turn into a slurry. I kind of look at the heavens above filled with intelligence. Like clouds are non-physical intelligence. The stars are souls above us, right? And everything manifests down here on the earth plane at a higher density.
It's very interesting.
Chino, question?
No, tell me your app again.
My app is the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. If you just point your camera at this QR code, it'll show right up. There's a knockoff of it on the Android store. So make sure it's by Blue Water Bay. It's $2.99 in the US. And it's got a high rating. It's like the highest rated app in the App Store.
Got it.
That's awesome.
We got it.
Check it. It's $2.99. There is a pop-up that says, would you like to subscribe for 99 cents a month? You do not have to. You can exit out and it won't show up again for the rest of the day. Right. And there's no wait. There's no ads. There's nothing. You still get everything. Okay. But if you want to subscribe because you love the app so much, feel free, but you don't have to.
That's awesome, Dave. We're going to definitely push your app. And anybody else? Questions?
Now, this was a really interesting podcast.
Eye-opening.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We thank you for your time.
Thank you so
Thank you for
much.
reaching out. And
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for having me
about.
on. And also, listen, if you think this is stupid, get the app. Just watch it every day when you have breakfast. Hit that daily video. Make sure you turn on when it says allow notifications, and then make sure you say allow to read the notifications. And then every morning when you see that notification, just hit it. while you're having your breakfast, watch us. I do short videos during the week, longer ones on the weekends, and your mind will be blown.
You did a good job today. Well, thank you for doing that.
Guys.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. See ya. Thanks so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye-bye.
Let's do a party with Miss Polly, please.
It's time to party with Miss Polly. The modern day Doctor.
Miss Polly, we just had an incredible show with David Weiss from the
Yeah.
Flat Earth podcast. He had to go, but
Very interesting.
yeah, very interesting.
That was a lot of myth busting.
Yeah, it's like eye-opening
Yeah.
stuff that Chino has taught us for years, actually.
I definitely have an
Okay.
open mind about that.
I
you
do
know?
too.
I mean,
I do
you
too.
have to with stuff.
Yes, I agree with
What do
you.
you
I don't know. I guess I'm so old school.
Well, technically,
I don't
old
know.
school is they used to think it was flat.
Well, that's like no.
That's way older.
That's way older than me, even. But I guess I guess because I was around, when the space program launched, and I still have, I have mixed feelings about all of that. So
I think when you feel that way, it just research a little bit, listen, watch, and keep an open mind.
I mean,
think that's it.
I'm not
Question
saying my mind is
everything.
closed,
right,
because I have a very open mind. I mean, it's me.
right.
But there are still some things that I'm like struggling with, but that's me. So-
Spider,
and
what
that-
did you think?
I didn't listen.
Oh, okay. All right, let's.
I have no space in my head for
so
belief.
speaking
gotcha.
of talking about myth,
Okay.
so one of the things that I like to do is let's talk about sex myths or myths dealing with the sexual
It's
in
Gino's favorite.
things. I know, right? But this one is the myth that menstruation is the ultimate baby barrier.
Say that again.
So
Wait, yeah.
basically saying that women can't get pregnant if they have sex while on their period.
Oh, I've always wondered that.
But while this is a highly unlikely scenario, the possibility of pregnancy isn't fully eliminated. So it depends largely on how long your menstrual cycle is. Most women, the menstrual cycle lasts for about 28 days. So usually those days are taken up by their period, during which unfertilized eggs and, basically the uterine lining is eliminated. So women are most fertile during the ovulation stage, which is anywhere from 12 to 16 days before the start of the next period. But some women have shorter cycles. So if your cycle isn't 28 days, your sperm could hide and can live inside the human body for up to 5 days. If
Really?
the timing is right, sperm could be there long enough to survive the period and penetrate a fresh egg.
Wow.
5 days.
5 days
I did
it hangs
not know
out.
That. Whoa.
Well, that's
So-
really important information.
That is very important.
So
Yes.
when
So
you're
if you're going
bleeding
by
or-
the counting method or the rhythm method, yeah.
So when you're bleeding, though, isn't that the actual egg coming out?
That's the
right?
uterine,
That's-
the uterine lining.
Lining.
Yes.
Okay, so
That's the lining.
how would you get pregnant
If
if
you-
that's coming out?
If well, it could still, if they have a shorter time frame, and your menstruation, it just depends on their cycle. I mean, if it lasts long enough and your sperm is lasting long enough, like say it's
Wow.
on the last day of their cycle, okay?
Uh-huh.
And then you have that other cycle that starts, you could still be bleeding, but it's on the last day. The egg has already, may have already gone with the first day,
Right.
Got it.
Interesting.
but you're going to bleed. Maybe you bleed for 7 or 8 days.
All right,
That's true, too.
interesting. So, question of the day.
The two posh girls ask the question of the day.
Is taking a nap with a friend of your desired gender a normal thing to do, or means more than friends?
A nap?
Yeah.
If it's just a nap.
I know.
It's just a nap and cuddles. What's wrong with that?
Everything is wrong with that.
Like, do you mean a snuggling nap, or you're just like laying next to each other? Or
Yeah.
It's
Either
also
way.
situation.
yeah,
too,
way
you
situational.
know?
There is no situation that if you are in a relationship, for instance, and you are with another,
But you didn't say that.
Well,
you didn't
no.
say if you're in a relationship.
that's what it means. So,
So it's fine if you're single.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're
Right?
single, it kind of doesn't matter,
Wait,
right?
so if you're in a relationship
Mhm,
and you
and
want
you
to take a nap with someone that you
That you're friends with, but you're not
that
intimate with?
so you're in a relationship and you're interested in someone, how do you even get to the
To the nap
nap?
stage.
That's a great question.
I'm like, hey, let's take a nap.
I would not be happy
I'm
if
tired. You want to take a nap?
if who I
Nope.
was with ended up alone napping with somebody else. So that, but if I'm, if you're,
Or if you just walked in on them and
Single.
they were napping,
yeah,
I mean, I would be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, right.
right.
How did you get to that nap?
Yeah.
Exactly. Why are you sleeping?
And I love naps. I love naps.
I love
I don't want
naps, man.
anyone in there with me. Fuck that.
No.
Get out my bed. Let me take my nap.
You want to nap peacefully
I
by
want to
yourself.
nap.
Gina, what do you think?
I'm not a napper anyways, but I wouldn't. If I'm in a relationship, I'm not napping with someone else. But I have never been in a situation where I've been on a couch and I was like,
A bunch
wanna
of
take a
old
nap?
people nap.
I don't think that'd come up like that. I don't know.
Netflix and nap.
Yeah. I'm not a napper.
I don't.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a thing you announce.
I mean, I could definitely
You just
take a
do it.
nap, in the
Yeah,
middle of the
especially
day.
today.
Oh,
Definitely.
man. Naps
I
when
wouldn't
it's
say I'm a
raining are
napper,
the
but
best.
I could definitely take a nap.
I before we stop, by the way, I had put a poll up on my Instagram about flat or round, and so far in like an hour and a half, it's been like 150 people have voted round, and one person has said
No
flat.
way.
So it just kind of
Wow.
I just wanted
That's
to share
very
that really fast. So
interesting.
we'll see maybe
Again, I feel I've always said this: you only know what
What
you've
you
been
know.
taught.
Yes,
Mhm.
for sure.
yeah.
I got a fun quote for that.
What's that?
So if a man is born ignorant to parents that are ignorant, in a society that is ignorant, lives a life of ignorance and eventually dies in ignorance, then ignorance is the norm. Then indoctrination can be called education, hypnotism can be called entertainment, criminals can be called leaders, and lies can be called truth because his mind was never his own. So
Wow.
Very
Deep.
interesting.
if you're taught something because it was taught to your parents and then you teach it to your grandkids, it's skipping generations. You never know anything different. That's normal.
Right.
Yep.
Everyone
Makes
just,
sense.
that's what I was taught growing up. The only reason I even got into it was because Patrick told me we didn't land on the moon. And I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Of course we landed on the moon. And so then I started looking up to prove him wrong and I couldn't. And
You
that's what
questioned it, and that's
Fell down the rabbit hole.
and then that was it. It started the whole thing.
That's what happened to me too. I was just kind of on YouTube actually, and a lot of things are banned on YouTube.
A lot.
And I still went down that rabbit hole, and then you get out of YouTube and you start doing your own research, and it's like, wow. I mean, like I've said, I'm not really 100 either way because I don't trust the powers that be. But I mean, there are a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah. There are.
Yeah, I always say, like, I want to always stay logical. I don't want to just take what I hear and go, okay, I run with it. Like,
Yeah. Question everything.
Yeah.
everything.
I think at the end of the day, like the earth, obviously, we can think all kinds of things. I think what I worry about most is my health and what I'm feeding myself. And
Yes. You are what you eat.
yeah, and the healthcare. And that is like the biggest for me because I think whether or not, I don't know how much you can change by thinking it's flat around, truthfully, in our lifetime. But I think the most important thing of the questioning everything makes you think of like your health and your
I
longevity.
think for me, that's the reason why I got into growing, because I grew up growing my food.
Mhm.
That
And
makes sense.
I mean, there was like times where, because we live next to a lot of farmland, So we had almost an acre as a garden, like,
Wow.
Yeah.
because we lived out in the country, and we grew like everything. And then we canned it. And so we had food for the winter. And for now, it's like, I mean, when I lived in Plano, I had my own garden.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, go in my garden again. I'm like, okay, I rent, but you know what? I can build a box, and I've got tomatoes that got destroyed at the last hail. I was so sad
no.
because I had to replant. But at the same time, I mean, a lot of vegetables, and sometimes I get impatient. I'm like, come on, would you just grow already? Because it's so expensive to buy organic.
Yeah.
It is.
And I'm kind of in there's not a lot of organic around here. And
And
I
even
mean,
the
I live in
organic
Amarillo.
isn't necessarily really organic.
I agree with you.
And that's just it, is because I remember the planes flying over with the pesticides, and we lost an entire garden because they sprayed pesticides and sprayed our entire garden.
Oh my
And it
goodness.
killed it. We couldn't eat it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You guys, I wanted to end the show and then do a question of the day and Miss Party by itself really quick before we get our next guest on, because sometimes those short shows are really cool. And wanted to thank everyone for listening.
Oh, thank you so much.
Follow us on all our social media pages on everything. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok,
Twitter,
Facebook, Twitter, all over. So follow us. Thank you for listening and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.